What's going on, everybody? We're back, like we never left. It's Lucas. It's Rohan. Counterpunch Pod, ready to break down UFC Vegas 97. Yeah, haven't been on here in what, like 3 weeks? Jesus Christ!
Bro, it's been a while. Too long. Because there's been some good cards too, man. We missed some good cards, but we're back.
We only missed one card, right?
I think two, because the Kyle Jared was one, and then
so it's been what, like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow, we're here. It's like I don't even like. This is crazy.
We're back
again. I'm kidding, but we're back. Had a little bit of a break. We took the Kyle card off because we're moving back into college. We're here now. As you can tell, Syracuse University. We're here. Rohan and I are no longer living together. Why? Because he does not like me, so I got kicked out.
Bro, wait until last minute to do his housing, bro. It's
relax. Don't.
It's that guy's fault.
All right, that doesn't matter. I'm saying it's saying my Wi-Fi is down. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. You're coming across. Oh, you're lagging now. You're
how about now?
In and out.
Hello.
In and out. You gotta get that fixed. You're frozen now. You're frozen. For me, at least. Okay, you're back. You're back. Oh.
Now you're frozen. Oh,
I'm not frozen. You're
frozen. I'm back. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're a little blurry.
Okay, let me look. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. We will
hear you, but you're a little blurry.
I'm looking at the. Oh, I am kind of a little fucked up. Oh no, we're good. We're all right.
Now
we're gonna push through. What's going on, everybody? We're here. I'm looking forward to break down this card, man. I really am. It's a good card. One of the better Apex cards we've honestly ever had. And honestly, like, all I can really think about is why are we still in the fucking Apex? It makes no sense. This card should be in front of a crowd. It's absolutely ridiculous. The UFC has gotten extremely lazy, but hey, you can't really complain when you have a fight in a fucking sphere next week. So I don't know. Thoughts on this card overall, Rohan?
Yeah, I actually like it, man. I'm a fan of the card. I think there's going to be a lot of violence. There's some notable names on here. Some guys that are just going to come forward and put on a show no matter what. And then the main event, Gilbert Burns, Sean Brady, that's pretty exciting in the welterweight division. I am not one that views Sean Brady as a real contender, just given the state of the division, like Bilal, Shavkat, Leon. I think these guys are a tier above him. But Burns is kind of sliding right now, and this is a big opportunity for Brady to just, put himself in a different stratosphere in the division and just make a real statement. So it's exciting.
Stylistically, that fight is so interesting to me, and I'm having a tough time picking it, honestly. But I think I have a prediction, and we'll get into that later on. But I don't see why we don't just jump right into it. First fight of the night. Let me get my little share screen going. Yep. Give me 1 second. Boom. Boom. And we should see it. Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Nah. Oh, there we go. Here it comes. Yep.
Here?
Got it.
Great.
Yep.
Again, we talk about this every time now, but Tapology and their ads, it's so fucking annoying. But here we are. Let's go. Let's talk about the first fight on the card. Zigimantas Ramaska versus Nathan Fletcher. This is, a fighter between two non-UFC. This is a fight between two non-UFC fighters. You have Ramaska and Fletcher both competed on the Ultimate Fighter. So you know what I'm actually curious about? Usually when they have these like tough cards, they'll make the Ultimate Fighter guys wear like the Ultimate Fighter shorts. But considering this fight got delayed 2 weeks, I wonder if they're just like signed to the UFC. I have no idea, but this fight's gonna be interesting. Ramaska's a really good striker. He's super dangerous. He's got a really good chin, and we really haven't seen his ground game tested at a high level. On the Ultimate Fighter, he had one fight. He beat this guy named Beksat. I forgot his last name. What was his last name? He looks really good. Sorry about that. Beksat Usomanov. He looked really good in that fight. He got dropped in the first round, but, fought through and really put a beating on this dude, a bad beating. He looked really good in that fight. And he's taking on Nathan Fletcher. Nathan Fletcher had one fight on the back to Ramaska. Ramaska, he won that first fight. And then he had like a facial fracture, I believe. So he was pulled out of the semifinals. So yeah, only one fight, 1-0 on tough. On the Fletcher side, he's 0-1. In his first round fight, he took on a Khan Offley. In that fight, he like fractured his leg in round one. Jesus Christ. I mean, I can't believe he fought through that. It was ridiculous. But
Yeah.
like, we really weren't able to see in that fight, and obviously he was severely injured. But what this guy is really like amazing at, I I feel like Fletcher all around is a pretty good fighter. But I'm gonna pick that one fighter in Ramaska who has that strength, who really has that strength, and that's Zigimantis Ramaska. He's got a great chin. He's got really good striking. I think he'll be able to keep the distance here. He's got the 4-inch height advantage. I'm going to take the dog in Ramaska, but honestly, no confidence. I just don't know enough about either guys. Despite being an avid tough watcher, I'm going to take the dog Ramaska. Um, if you have anything else to say, talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I did a little quick tape study on both guys, and I really liked what I saw from Fletcher. Like he is very capable on the feet. He's got a good flow to his striking. Mixes up the kicks really well. But the grappling, and he's very opportunistic on the ground. Like he will attack submissions if he finds an opening, and he's really tough. Like he won't give up a takedown. He can reverse positions in the clinch and reverse even into his own takedown, as we saw a few times on the regional scene. So I like his overall game. I just do think that there is a chance for somebody like Ramaska, who is so forward heavy on his front foot, and he just comes at you with so much pressure, to just put a little pace on him. And so I do like the dog shot a little bit, but I'm not going to really make an official prediction just because, like you said, I haven't really gathered too much knowledge about either guy. I do expect a really close fight because I do think, obviously tough finale, a lot on the line. We're going to get the best out of both guys. But the finishing potential, I think, also is on Ramaska's side, just because of how explosive he is and how aggressive he is in there. You could just tell, I think, when these guys come in the cage, he's going to be the one on the front foot from the start. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I expect a good one,
though. You mentioned it was a tough finale. Honestly, I think this could have been the tough finale if both these guys stayed healthy. But this is just like a random fight they put together. Why, I don't know. But regardless, I think this is a pretty high level fight for being, two fighters that are making their debut. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a close one. One thing that stuck out to me betting wise, and I know this isn't really a betting breakdown video, but the over 1.5 is like interesting to me. It's at like minus 150 right now. When the fight was first scheduled 2 weeks ago, it was like at plus 100. Honestly, I see this fight going the distance. As you mentioned, I agree. I think Ramaska has the finishing potential. But then again, we haven't really seen him tested on the ground by a high level guy. I think overall, I'll probably just stay away from this. Over 1.5 is tempting because I think it's such a close fight. But yeah, I'm just going to probably watch this one as a fan. Let's move on. Oh my God. Cancer in a fight. We've got Andre Petrosky taking on Dylan Budka. I did a little parlay video, a Hail Mary parlay video on our Instagram where I gave a bet for almost every single fight and put it together in a Hail Mary parlay. And I said in the video that I promised myself I'd never lay chalk on Andre Petrosky ever again. And there's just no shot. I mean, after 2 rounds, this guy's usually done, except if you're fighting Josh Fremd, who's a guy that could get taken down by a gust of wind. But at the same time, you have Dylan Budka here, who also has horrible cardio. I mean, he gassed out after 1 round against Cesar Almeida trying to get takedowns. This fight, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm lost. I'm going to pick Petrosky because Budka looked like shit, but to be honest, both fighters are shit. And also, Petrosky got knocked out by a hip. Remember that back in March?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
insane. I'm probably going to stay away. I'll let you go ahead.
I don't know, man. Look, it's a weird fight. I mean, Budka has that style that just like he'll survive, he'll eat a lot of damage, but Petrosky's not the guy to dish out a lot of damage on the feet. He's not the most polished striker. He's just more of a wrestler and a generic wrestler at that. Like he's not really the type to just jump on submissions when they present themselves. He's just kind of a grinder. And the thing is, like, his chin is such a question in this fight. And Budka, he's not like the most powerful guy, but like he does have a few finishes on his record, 7-3. I mean, he's got 1 finish by knockout, but I mean, he's just a real survivor in there. That's what I'd categorize him as. So, like, I don't know. The Cesar Almeida matchup was a really bad stylistic matchup. Just a elite kickboxer that he was never going to have a chance against. But Or I mean, Petrosky is just a wrestler. As long as he can defend the takedowns, I mean, he might have a chance to score a lot of damage on the feet. So I mean, personally, I like Budka, and I'm really just not a fan of what I've seen from Petrosky at all throughout his career. I mean, I know he's done well on whatever it was, the Ultimate Fighter, but like he's just in the UFC, the knockout by the hip, just the gas, the consistent issues with his cardio that he's just yet to figure out. It's just too worrying. So I'm gonna side with Budka at. Is he plus money? Yeah,
He's
right.
big plus money, and that's something I wanted to talk about. Like, how is Petrosky minus 300? To be honest, I do actually. I disagree. I think Petrosky probably wins, and I'm somebody that's not high on Budka whatsoever. I think Budka, like, he's just like not good
He's not
anywhere.
talented, but he's not like he doesn't do anything special.
Yeah, I feel like he's just a fighter in the
Yeah,
UFC.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna pick Petrosky, but like then again, like as you said, if I would not like honestly, I'm probably gonna take a shot on Buka. I mean, I think this line is absolutely ridiculous. Again, I'm picking Petrosky to win, but minus 300, I can't get behind that. So
Yeah.
Petrosky's the pick. Value, there's no value on Petrosky's side, and again, I'll never play chalk on Petrosky ever again. Let's move on. What we got next? We have
Vanessa and Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Amarim taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. Again, got to get rid of these bummy ads. But yeah, I feel like Amarim's gonna win. Amarim's really dangerous with her submissions. She has incredible jujitsu. I mean, really,
Yeah.
really good jujitsu. And if you look at the career of Demopoulos, she really hasn't faced somebody with top tier jujitsu like Amarim. Like if we look at her UFC career, like it's been JJ Aldrich, Silvana Gomez Juarez, Jin Yu Frey, Maria Oliveira. Not only are these fighters bums, but they have no jujitsu, right? Also, you could definitely argue that this girl is on a 3-fight losing streak. 100% you could.
Mhm.
I thought she lost. I thought she lost to Ducati. Um, I I don't know if this is a step up in competition from Ducati per se. However, I feel like the advantage in the jiu-jitsu was there all day for Amarim. Um, she looked really good in her last fight against Corey McKenna, getting that armbar, showed how high level her jiu-jitsu truly is. And I'm going to pick Jacqueline Amarim. Am I going to be throwing her in parlays at minus 300? It's women's MMA and it's non-ranked women's MMA, so probably not. But I'm going to pick Amarim to win by submission. And while I'm here, I'm curious what the line on Amarim by submission is because, it is a women's fight, women's strawweight fight. But Amarim by submission, you could get that at plus 325. I mean, it's a whatever number. I'm going to pick Amarim by sub, though. Who do you got?
Yeah, I have really nothing to add here. I got her by sub as well, I mean, every point that you made, like she is a elite grappler, and Demopoulos, who has she faced that has anybody that has any sort of grappling ability comparable to Emerim? Nobody. I mean, Ducote Murata, Oliveira, Jinyu Fry, and she's going to split decisions, arguably losing all of these fights. I mean, she could have lost to Jinyu Fry, could have lost to Murata, could have lost to Ducote, like you said. So I mean, she could be arguably 1-5 in the UFC, and Emerim is the type that she will not lose this fight. I don't see the threat. Excuse me, I do not see the threat of any submission on Demopoulos' side, and on the striking. My bad. On the striking, I think it's pretty even as well, and I think Jacqueline probably has a slight advantage, if anything at all. So yeah, I think she's got everything she needs to win this fight. So yeah, I'm taking her by submission as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. But then again, this girl did lose to Sam Hughes, so you really never know.
Yeah, but Sam Hughes, like at least Sam Hughes is one of those that like she puts her hands together and then just like enters for a strong takedown. She's got some good control. Demopoulos, like she arguably lost to Jin Yu Fry. I remember that fight. I mean, that was bad. She's just not done anything impressive in the UFC, whereas Amarim has, and she has a clear path to victory. Whereas Demopoulos, I don't know. Her path to victory is just drag it out and have a close decision like she always does.
Yeah, not much more to say. We're both going to go Amarim. Not that interesting of a fight. Let's move on. What do we got next? We have Gabriel Santos versus Iza. Santos is a fighter that's like confusing to me, but I think he's pretty good. I really do. I mean, he made his debut against Lerone Murphy. That was an incredibly close fight. And then another close fight with Onama up until he got knocked out. But I'm a guy who thinks David Onama is pretty damn good. I think this is a big step down. I mean, he's going from Lerone Murphy, who's what, a top 10 featherweight now, and David Onama, who I think has top 15 potential in the featherweight division, to a Yiza who's, making his debut. He's fought on the road to UFC. He actually fought on a UFC card in the road to UFC fighters finals, lost to Jung Young Lee. That's a guy that I don't actually think is that bad. I don't think Yija is horrible per se. I just think he's not all that. I mean, the competition he beat on road to the UFC wasn't that impressive based on his, regional scene performances. Yeah, he's winning the fights. Yeah, he has experience, 29 fights at 27 years old. But I just feel like Santos, when it comes to level of competition, I mean, Santos was thrown in there with the fucking wolves. I think this guy's pretty damn talented. He arguably beat Lerone Murphy,
True.
arguably in that fight. I honestly thought he won that fight. I had money on Lerone Murphy. I was sweating my ass off, and I thought Gabriel Santos won the fight. Shout out to these rigged judges. They came through and gave Lerone Murphy that W for my parlay. But I think Gabriel Santos is good. I'm curious to see where he is after that knockout loss, but he's only 27, only getting better. I'm going to pick him to win this fight. I think he's got a lot of potential, this guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be close, but I do think Santos is an overall better fighter than Yija. And I mean, judging off of the tape that I watched of Yija, the one thing I have to say is his cardio is going to be a big problem here. I remember, like obviously for these smaller guys, having a gas tank is a really, essential tool. And I think Gabriel Santos just has a much better gas tank than Yija. He's very low volume on the feet, especially in the second and third round. Like he will just stop throwing combinations and wait, and then just dart in for a takedown because that's what he really likes to do. Is grapple and look for wrestling exchanges. So I just think that overall Santos has more ways to win this fight, and he can win it on damage. I don't really see that. Onama is sneaky powerful. That guy is sneaky powerful, and that was a solid uppercut that he landed. I mean, he's got 7 of his 12 wins by knockout. He's a finisher. I don't think Yija is a finisher like that. So I think that Gabriel Santos will be able to avoid that sort of big shot. And like you said, I mean, he hung in there with Lerone Murphy. They fed him to the wolves, and he proved himself, as much as he could at least. And I think that that's going to show here again. So I'm going to agree with you and side with Gabriel Santos here to win.
And that Lerone Murphy fight was on short notice, I
Yeah,
believe.
that makes it even more impressive. That's crazy.
Was it? I think.
Is it?
Yeah, it was. He was supposed to take on Nathaniel Wood, and Gabriel Santos stepped in and looked really good. Next fight, he looked all right, but I still believe in this kid, 27. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I do think that this is a solid parlay piece this week. I'm honestly surprised that the line isn't wider. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we have Andre Lima taking on Felipe.
This is a fun fight. This is a crazy.
I wish I got the Lima line at minus 130. Even minus 180, I think Lima wins the fight. I think talent-wise, both these fighters are pretty damn close. I like the pressure of Dos Santos. He looked good in that cop fight. Lima, not the best counter boxing, but honestly, I feel like that's his only weakness in this matchup. I think that – sorry, I'm lagging a little bit. There we go. I think that Lima's going to be able to beat up the legs here. I feel like if Dos Santos wants to shoot takedowns, they'll probably get stuffed. And one thing that I like about Lima – and I heard one of the commentators said this in his debut, but he fights like a black belt. He's not a black belt. This guy's probably won a white or a blue belt, but he fights like he's always throwing up submissions. He's always trying to get off bottom. That's what I really like about Lima. Again, I feel like these guys are very close talent-wise, but just stylistically, I think the calf kicks are going to be there all day, every day for Lima. The body hooks are going to be there all day. We saw Dos Santos get hurt to the body in his last fight. Gassed out a little bit, but I don't want to judge him too much for that because it was in Mexico where the high altitude is. But regardless, I think this is a good stylistic matchup for Lima. I think he wins a pretty clear 29-28. I'll say Felipe Dos Santos snags the first round, but Lima takes over as the fight goes on and looks clean as he always does. He's looked really good in his UFC fights. He had that fight against Mitch Raposo where we were there for that fight. That was the first fight of UFC 302. It was a big weight miss, I believe. He missed by like 4 or 5 pounds. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how he looks on the scales. But at the same, yeah, look, last weigh in 130, missed by 4 pounds. But regardless, as long as he can make that 126 mark, Dos Santos is a guy that doesn't cut that much weight in his own right. Like Dos Santos last weighed in at 124 pounds. So that probably means that he doesn't cut a lot of weight. So I feel like the takedowns will be tough here for Dos Santos. I think Lima stuffs him, and I think he picks him apart. I'm going to take Lima here. Curious to hear who you got in this one.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta agree again, man. I hate to keep doing it, but you really said it all. Like the kicking game of Lima is going to be the biggest difference in this fight, because we even saw in the cop fight, like I think that might have been the difference, because the boxing, there was a lot of exchanges where it wasn't really that clean. They were both kind of landing, half landing, hitting the glove, but it was high octane pace. The whole time it was very a lot of action in that fight. But this one is one where if Lima can slow it down a little bit, and especially in the later rounds, like the second and third rounds, you'll see a difference in just how clean he is, like you said, and the kicking game is going to separate them, I believe, in the later rounds. The leg kicks, Felipe Dos Santos does not do a good enough job of checking those. And even the body kicks of Lima, I mean, the speed at which he gets his leg up there and the accuracy, like he will get it right under the arm, the perfect technique right on the liver. Like he is very, very, very capable on the feet and so technical. I think in the later rounds where you get tired, you can feel the physical effects. You can see it on the fighters at times. I think he's just a little better at conserving his energy and just being a bit smarter about picking his shots and picking his angles. Like I think like you said, the biggest thing for Dos Santos is getting this fight to the ground where he has probably a bit of a clearer edge, but Lima is really good with his takedown defense. He doesn't let you get anything easy. He's got good balance against the fence, like Cervino. I remember in their first fight where obviously he bit him, but he had him against the fence for a while trying to take him down. But Lima did a good job of standing his ground, and I think Dos Santos is pretty similar style. Like he'll come forward, but I think the third round his output will slow down a lot, and Lima's gonna just take over with those kicks. And yeah, I'm gonna pick him as well. I think it could be a close decision, but yeah, Lima is just he's better in my opinion.
Yeah, Lima struggled a little bit with the wrestling in the Igor Severino fight, but that's what Igor Severino does. He's a grinder.
Yeah.
But I also think Igor Severino is a pretty damn good fighter, despite getting cut for fucking biting.
He is. That was supposed to be. I mean, everybody was hyped up for that fight because it was a great fight. And like you said, there were moments where he did get him down, but overall, I thought like he did. There were some moments where you could tell that he was comfortable in there. He wasn't getting rushed at all, and he was
Sure.
believing in his takedown defense. So that'll come in handy here. But yeah, the striking, man, he is a dangerous guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Dos Santos is bad. I mean, he looked good in that Manel Cop fight. He
But
really
Manel
did.
Cop is one of those guys. Like I think Lima versus Cop would be a good fight. Like Cop,
I mean, yeah,
he leaves
come
a
on.
lot
Let's
of
not go
openings.
that far.
He leaves
Relax.
a lot of openings. He does. I mean, he leaves a
Cop,
lot of openings on the feet, and he's not a
Cop
guy
would
that
destroy
wrestles at
Lima.
all, huh?
Cop would destroy Lima, dude. Stop. He's not
Bro,
there yet.
bro. I mean, he didn't destroy Dos Santos, and everybody was saying that about him when that took place. He said, we were like, what is this guy doing here? And the thing about Cop is like, he's got power. Don't get me wrong. That's the big thing with Cop. He's got power, but he's very cocky and confident in his ability. He leaves a lot of openings, and Philippe was able to capitalize on that and make it close. So I think, and Dos Santos was falling into that same trap. And Lima, I think, is going to be a little smarter about just picking his shots and breaking him down as opposed to engaging in a full-on war. So that's why I think he'll.
At the end of the day, I'm with you. We're
Yeah.
both going Lima. I think it's a good stylistic matchup for him. Look for him to just break him down as the fight goes on. I'm with you.
Bro. We don't even disagree, but we still find ways to argue. But it's good because
We got to make this entertaining.
No, but it's good. Exactly. We keep.
It's usually me. It's usually me. But we got to agree
exactly.
like, on a lot of these, and that's the thing about Roland and I, folks. Like we run the same Discord. We have the same Discord. We pretty much have the same opinions. We think alike when it comes to these fights, and I don't know if this show may be boring from time to time because we agree, but just know that you're getting the best insight possible, and yeah, the fact that we can
not
see
all the time though. Like we have different opinions all the time too. In the main events, I mean, you could check the history. I mean, like the Leon Bilal fight.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Duplessis Strickland, we disagreed. I mean, there's so many main events, high profile fights that we have, completely opposite takes. So you're getting the best of both worlds. And at the end of the day, we're both just enjoyers of the sport, So we're giving you the best takes possible and pouring our all into the analysis. That's what I'll say.
Well, folks, I hate to break it to you, but this pattern isn't going to change with this fight. As we have a minus 3,000 favorite, the biggest favorite in UFC history, Isaac Dolgarian, taking on Brendan Murat. Isaac Dolgarian, he's really good. He is going to finish this fight in round 1. It's going to happen. He's going to take him down and maul him. That's all I have to say. Hello?
Oh, yeah, you're done. Okay, yeah. I really don't have anything to add. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is a big, big, big gap in skill here. I mean, this fight really is on the border of like shouldn't be sanctioned. Dolgarian has every single advantage that he needs on the ground, on the feet. He's faster, stronger, better everywhere. I mean, if he does lose, I'd be shocked. Like, I mean, it's Wednesday. I don't know. This line might jump up to like Bo Nickel territory. I don't know. Like,
this is bigger than Bo Nickel, wasn't that?
Yeah.
What was the line on that fight?
No, I think it is. I think it's bigger. Yeah, it is bigger. This is insane. Yeah, minus yeah. I mean, but it's deserved. Like, it's crazy. Why did they even make this?
But then again, this guy's coming off a loss. We saw after a round and a half, he gassed out. Like,
you trying to talk yourself into some value?
No, I just don't like. I like minus 1,000. I'll get minus 3,000. But
I mean, yeah, that's insane.
Brendan Murat sucks. Brendan Murat sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
He's not UFC caliber. Yeah, we're going Dolgarian. He's gonna finish this fight in round 1. If you guys have never seen Dolgarian fight, excuse me, he's literally like Khabib but on drugs, like on crack cocaine. Like he'll go out there, take you down, and just beat the living shit out of you. It's insane, and I don't see that changing against Murat. Murat is probably the worst fighter in the featherweight division. Honestly, I don't think that's crazy to say. He's probably the worst fighter in the featherweight division. Is this a featherweight or lightweight fight? I believe it's featherweight, right? Yeah, it's featherweight. This is gonna be a mauling. But again, like this line, like for a guy he's coming off a loss. Like I feel like if you're coming off a loss, you cannot be unless you're like a former champ fighting a bum, you can't be the biggest favorite of all time. But
fair.
Yeah, I'll take Dolgarian first round. We're together on that, correct?
Yeah, we're with each other.
We got some comments here. Thoughts on the Edmonton card? Looking pretty stacked for fight night. I saw they just announced the main event, Moreno Albazi. That's gonna be a good one. Who do you have in there?
Moreno Albazi. I gotta back Moreno just because. I mean, I guess Amir Albazi did not beat Kai France for one, and I mean, Moreno he lost to the champ. I mean, there's no shame in that. Pantoja's a beast. He beat Kai France before that and made it look pretty easy. Like, I'm sticking with Moreno, but it'll be a good fight.
But Moreno didn't look that good in the Royval fight. I don't know. That's a fight that
the Royval fight. I know, but Royval is like he's so unorthodox, bro. Albazi is just such a bread and butter guy. Like, it's so easy to do.
I'll probably take Moreno for now, but we'll see. That may change. What's going on? UPI in the chat. What's popping? Royval or Tyra? I think Tyra is incredible.
Holy shit.
Tyra's incredible. I think he's gonna win. I think Tyra's if he fought Pantoja today, I think Tyra wins. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Pantoja. I thought you were talking about Pantoja is different. I don't know. But he's so talented. Like, I'm not ready to go there yet, but as far as the Royval matchup, I'll just say that Tyra is a different fighter, man. Like that finish that he had, obviously, albeit it was against. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Who did he just destroy?
Alex Perez, buddy.
Alex Perez, my bad. Oh my goodness. But that finishing sequence was incredible. Getting to his back. I mean, the knee, I don't even what he did to maneuver his knee out of position, but he just like leaned back and popped his leg out of place. But he was going to finish the fight either way. I mean, it was such an incredible performance, and he's so technical everywhere. So yeah, I do think he edges out Moreno, and I mean, he does give a really good challenge to Pantoja, I will say. Pantoja is and he's older, Tyra is so young. I think he poses a real threat, man. He's a future champ, I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I like Tyra. I think.
But this division is stacked because isn't Kaya Sakura coming as well, right? Or is he a division up?
He's flyweight. Yeah, he is flyweight.
That's crazy. Wow.
Didn't Dolgarian gas out in his last fight? That's exactly what I'm saying. But level of competition is different. So
Yeah.
let's move on. And folks, over the summer, there were some breaks for UFC. So I needed to find, for years I was just in love with the UFC, and it was the only sport I was truly in love with. And I had to get into a different sport. So I'm fucking with tennis now, guys. And Rohan too. I don't know if you're seeing this right now, Rohan, but Sinner
Yeah.
just won.
Yeah. 3-1, 3-1, 3-1.
What did I tell you earlier?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't disagree with you. I don't think
3-1, 3-1. I called it
Oh, you
3-1.
called it 3-1. That's yeah. Good call. Good call.
This isn't a tennis show. So let's move on. Rongju versus Chris Padilla. You can still see my screen, right? Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh man. How this is a 50-50 fight. Like, I just don't understand how Rongju is minus 250. This guy was in the UFC when he was really young, like 2021. He lost to Rodrigo Vargas. Beat who did he beat? Brennan Jenkins, and then lost to Bahamondes, and then got cut. Comes back on the road to the UFC, gets some wins, and here he is back in the UFC. I mean, a guy can make improvements. He looked much better in that Shin Haraguchi fight in the road to UFC final. But, like, I don't know. I don't know if Shin Haraguchi is not a big guy. Chris Padilla is pretty fucking big. He's got great control. This line makes no sense to me. Like, what has Rongju done to prove himself as this big of a favorite?
Yeah.
I think this is a 50-50 fight. Padilla, his striking isn't incredible, and he's definitely the worst striker here. But if he can get a hold of Rongju and take him down, I think Rongju's going to have some trouble. I feel like this line is judged off the fact that, yes, Rongju is the better striking, but saw Rongju stuff a bunch of takedowns from a guy in Shin Haraguchi who has high level wrestling, but that Shin Haraguchi's should be fighting at bantamweight. Chris Padilla is pretty filled out at lightweight, man, and he's very strong as well. I'm gonna go Chris Padilla. I'm gonna take the big dog by decision, plus 205. I think he'll be able to control him. I really do. What do you think?
I do agree with you about the line. I definitely don't see why Rongju is that big of a favorite. And Padilla, he's a freaking grinder, bro. That's the one thing about him. Like, he's not gonna get overwhelmed by anybody's pressure, and he's got such good control. Like you said, the offensive wrestling of his is such a big problem. But he's a grinder in the sense that, like, his striking, he uses the striking to just get to the ground, man. And a lot of fighters don't do that. They can wrestle, but they can't really back the wrestling up with any substantial striking. But he can, man. He mixes it up too. Like, he can punch, he can kick, he works his way inside very well. But Rongju, man, he is very talented. He is very, very talented on the feet. I mean, he's got some great finishes on his record. Obviously, I mean, like you were saying, it's a difference in the size of Padilla and his last opponent, Shin Haraguchi. He would beat. I mean, the rear naked choke. I didn't really hold much weight with that performance, obviously, but I mean, he's really talented. It's tough to call, because I think the talent is on his side. But when you factor in, obviously, the size and then the wrestling of Padilla, it kind of could neutralize it, because it's such polar opposite styles. But I don't know, 2 rounds out of 3. I think Rongju can just accumulate enough damage, maybe, and stuff a few of the takedowns, and just in the judges' eyes take a close fight. But I do see why you're going Padilla, because the line is way too stretched out. I think it should be more of like a 1 or minus 160 Rongju around there. But yeah, minus 250 is a bit wide, and I'm seeing like minus 275 on some. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I think this line is nuts, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean, with the way this line is, I'm curious to see, like, am I tripping? We'll find out.
I mean, we'll see. Padilla, his style is like, it's either going to work or it's not, like.
Yeah, 100%. Rohan, this is my fight of this is the
of course, it's a freaking
main event,
right?
Blue main event of the evening. Trevor Peek versus Yanal Ashmouz. And as you just said, I mean, Trevor Peek is extremely like pleasing to the audience. I mean, this guy goes to fucking war, but that's just not why. That's not the entire reason why I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to it because I just don't understand how Trevor Peek is even a slight favorite in this fight. I think Ashmouz wins. I think plus 110 is ridiculous. Trevor Peek wins fights off of being an absolute dog and coming forward and just coming forward with reckless abandon and just throwing bombs. But his whole thing is just being tougher than you. And I feel like that's just not something he has here against Ian Ashmouz. In Ashmouz's last fight against Chris Duncan, this guy fought about what 3/4 of the fight with a broken fucking wrist and pushed forward and didn't even and had the best poker face known to mankind. I had no idea until the fight was over. I had a bet on Ashmouz in that fight, and I was like, man, did I just overrate the shit out of Ashmouz? Turns out his fucking wrist was completely snapped in half. Ashmouz is tough as nails. I think he's the better fighter everywhere. He's better striking, better ground game, and they're both fucking tough. This line makes no sense. No sense. Ashmouz plus money all day. I don't get it. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Am I bugging?
No, I thought we were gonna have differing opinions on this fight because I was thinking that before we got there, and then you just you just basically took the words out of my mouth. I don't know how the fuck Trevor Peek is a favorite. I mean, Ashmouz is actually like very, very talented. I mean, you watch this guy's tape. He's got his striking. He's so versatile on the feet. He throws some insanely wild techniques sometimes that do end up landing just because of how accurate he can be. I mean, but this guy, he's got such a wide range of strikes in his arsenal. And Trevor Peek is just like he's tough. He's very tough. But like, what has he shown as far as like his striking though to prove that it's better than Ashmouz? I don't think anything. I mean, like he's a very plain boxer. He throws pretty simple 1-2 combinations on the pipe, occasional body shot here and there. But he leaves his head wide open to be hit. I mean, we saw in that Chet Skull fight how crazy he can get. And then again, on the ground, this guy's shown nothing on the ground, whereas Ashmouz is actually very talented on the ground. I mean, he's got what is it? 2 wins by sub. Yeah. And he's never been finished by sub, obviously. Only 1 loss on his record to Chris Duncan. But yeah, I am very confused at this line. Trevor Peek, I mean, I've never been impressed with any aspect of Trevor Peek's fighting other than his toughness and his durability and his will. But again, if that's going to be matched by somebody like Ashmouz who has the ability to just out tough him, then like it comes down to skill, where Ashmouz also has the advantage. So yeah, I don't know why the fuck this line is why he's a favorite. I mean, why he's an underdog, excuse me. And yeah, I think there's a lot of value in just his money line. And yeah, I gotta pick him as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. Trevor Peek is not a skilled fighter. He's not.
No, he's not.
He had a win against.
He lost to Charlie Campbell too, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bet. I actually had a bet on Trevor Peek in that fight, and I don't regret making that bet. He was a big underdog. I think like plus 200, and I don't regret making that bet whatsoever because Campbell leaves his chin out there, struggles with pressure, isn't the most durable guy. So it was like, hey,
yeah, dude. And Campbell's not talented at all, bro. Oh my god,
you don't like Campbell?
No, like this guy, like his like
I don't want to get into another fight. I don't think Campbell is horrible.
No, bro. As far as the striking though, if you're comparing Ashmouz striking to Campbell striking, as an issue for Trevor Peek, I think Ashmouz striking is going to be way more of an issue as far as like.
I feel like overall as a fighter, Ashmouz is going to be more difficult because Campbell is shit out there. He struggles with pressure. Ashmouz is a fucking dog. He has great cardio. He's extremely durable. No, he's not the best striker on planet Earth. No, he's not the best grappler on planet Earth. But I think he's better everywhere than Peek. And I think he's as tough. And fuck it, I'll say it. Maybe even more. I don't know if I want to say that.
And he's got at least some defensive fundamentals. Like he keeps his hands up. Like Trevor Peek does not care about the defensive side of the striking. He just is all offense and will move his head where he can. But I mean, he's gonna get hit in this fight, and yeah, it's gonna be a war.
So yes, I'm excited to this fight because it's a Trevor Peek fight and it's gonna be an absolute war. But I just don't understand the line. My biggest bet of the week will probably end up being Ashmouz, and I'm curious to see if I'm tripping or not. We'll find out. Let's move on. Next fight on the card, we have Matt Schnell versus Cody Durden. I'm kind of glad Alessandro Costa pulled out because, Matt Schnell may have died. Alessandro Costa is one of the most powerful fighters in the flyweight division, and he was fighting Matt Schnell, the fighter with the worst chin in UFC history. You know what I just thought about? Like, it came to my mind 2 seconds ago. What would happen if Francis Ngannou fought Matt Schnell?
I mean,
Well,
I think Matt Schnell would
he'd
actually
die,
die.
right? He'd probably die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's not gonna have a problem with Cody Durden here when it comes to power. However, again, a wise man once told me never bet against Cody Durden. He's a minus 300 favorite here, but I'm still not gonna do it. Durden is a fucking dog. He'll always try to find a way to win. Yes, he's coming off what? Back-to-back losses, but one was against Ulanbekov, who was extremely, extremely talented, and one was against Bruno Silva, a fight that he was dominating up until he just got. Matt Schnell doesn't have crazy power to catch Durden, and Matt Schnell doesn't have insane jiu-jitsu like Tagir Ulanbekov or insane sambo like Ulanbekov. I feel like Durden's just going to be able to outwork him. I know I just said we don't have to worry about the power from Durden, but he's going to be mixing in those takedowns. I feel like as the fight goes on, we could see Durden even clip and maybe finish Schnell with strikes. We'll see. I feel like this is Durden all day, every day here. Matt Schnell, I'm just not a fan of. This guy has no fucking chance. When was the last time? He had that fight against Sumo Darji, right? But Sumo Darji, I just don't think is that good. He lost. Did he lose to Bontarine here? Yeah, I think he did, right? And then Bontarine popped for some sort of steroid, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he tested positive for whatever the fuck that is. So outside of that Sumo Darji fight, the last time he won was against Tyson Nam. That's a horrible chin. Like, I don't know if you remember this Hector Sandoval fight, but like he literally got like he was getting like a face massage and just got knocked out. It's crazy. This guy can get knocked out by anything.
Yeah.
So who knows? I think Durden dominates though. I think he's a dog, and he'll fucking fight for your money. I don't know how I'm going to play this yet. If I'm comfortable throwing him into a parlay, I want to look into this fight a little bit more to see if I'm ready to put him in a parlay. But you know, I know these fighters very well, and I think Durden dominates. Who do you got?
Yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, Cody Durden he's a dog, like you said, and Matt Schnell's chin is the worst in the sport. That's really all I can say about Matt Schnell. I mean, he really offers no upside in this fight, no wrestling. I mean, you look at Cody Durden's losses, the one against Ulanbekov, he was just completely outmatched on the ground. There was nothing he could do because Ulanbekov is really talented. This guy is one of the, has potential to be, one of the best flyweights in the world, one of the top 5 flyweights in the world. So he's a real problem. And then the Bruno Silva fight, like you said, I thought Durden was actually looking really good up until Bruno Silva caught him. But Bruno Silva is really technical. He can find your chin, from all sorts of angles. Matt Schnell is not. Matt Schnell is not a technical guy. He's just a, very, very basic striker. Doesn't do anything special, doesn't really get out of his comfort zone at all. And then he doesn't offer any, grappling threat or submission threat whatsoever. So it's not like Durden will really have to worry about the wrestling. And you look at this guy's wins, man. The Charles Johnson win has aged beautifully. The Jake Hadley win has aged beautifully. Those guys are very talented flyweights, obviously not cracking, the top 5 anytime soon, but they're both very talented guys. And the fact that Durden was able to outlast them both in pretty clear decisions is a really telling sign. So, I mean, he's a really talented fighter. He will come forward and fight for your money, like you said. And yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to pick him here. He should be a bigger favorite in this fight. Matt Schnell has the worst chin I've ever seen, and that's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it. Durden, I think he wins. Simple as that. Let's move on. Next fight on the card.
Jesus. Again. This one is weird.
This is going to be chaotic. Apologies if I sound a little bit congested, folks. I'm battling a cold, but we're trying to push through. We got Kyle Nelson versus Steve Garcia. I mean, someone's going to get knocked out here, right? I mean, both fighters.
Yeah, the way they're fighting at this juncture in their career, Kyle Nelson specifically, I mean, shit.
Maybe. Steve Garcia is going to make Kyle Nelson fight. He's going to make him fight. Kyle Nelson has been fighting, fairly relaxed. I mean, if we look at the career of Kyle Nelson, this guy used to just be fucking crazy. He'd go to war. You look at his first, 4 fights in the UFC. Went to war with Ferreira, went to war with Sales, went to war with Polo Reyes, went to war with Quarantillo. That was a weird knockout. And then ever since that Jai Herbert fight, he's just it's been so weird. Like, he comes up, he fights Jai Herbert. It's a very low volume fight. Same thing with Duho Choi. Same thing with Builder. Same thing with Padilla. And then he fights Algio and gets a knockout, but it was an early stoppage, right?
Yeah, easy early
but
stoppage.
here's one thing about Steve Garcia is he is going to make Kyle Nelson fight, and it's literally going to be a war. Who has worse durability? We know both these guys have power, but who has worse durability? I'm gonna pick Garcia. I think he knocks him out probably. But like the one thing that's concerning is that Mahashate lost. Like Mahashate is a fighter that I think sucks, and Garcia got knocked out by him. But then again, we don't want to do MMA math. Garcia has improved despite being 32 years old. It's going to be a war. Someone's getting knocked out. I'm going to say Kyle Nelson does get knocked out. I feel like that win against Algio, I mean, that was a fairly favorable matchup for him, considering Algio was a pretty shit chin. Yeah, I'll say Garcia does knock out Nelson. Nelson, not the best chin in his own right. Someone's getting knocked out. I'll tell you that. So I like the unders. Curious what that is at. I'm going to check that right now. This is the featured fight on the card. Under two. Oh wow, the under 2.5 minus 435. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. The odds makers know someone's getting finished, and turn that off. We're good. Yeah, I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna pick Steve Garcia by knockout. Who do you got?
Yeah, I gotta agree. Like you said, somebody's getting knocked out, and this is gonna be all violence the entire time. But Steve Garcia has impressed me more in his recent run of wins than Kyle Nelson has. I mean, you look at Steve Garcia's recent knockout. I mean, 4 knockouts in a row, I believe, right? Let me double check that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 knockouts in a row, and against pretty good comp. I mean, the Melquizal Costa. I remember a lot of people were picking him in that. He knocked him out. Sung Woo Choi's not terrible. He knocked him out. Chase Hooper. Not a lot of people were expecting that one. I mean, he's looked really good, and like you said, he's somehow improving at 32. And Kyle Nelson, I was so down on him until the Algio knockout, which was kind of a fluke. I mean, Bill Algio, like you said, he's got some chin issues, but that was really, other than, well, the Duho Choi one, but Duho Choi's got real power. Other than that, he wasn't really getting knocked out often. Like it was a bad stoppage by the ref, and I'm not looking at that knockout from Kyle Nelson and being like, oh, this guy's some killer all of a sudden. Before that, he wasn't really doing much. He beat Pollo Reyes by knockout. Like, who is that? Like, he's getting no. That's his only other win in the UFC by finish. So I mean, I'm really not that high on Kyle Nelson even after that win. And I like what I've seen from Steve Garcia recently. So if you're telling me that there's going to be a knockout fight and in this fight, and you're telling me that it's an under 2.5, then I just got to side with the guy that I feel is a better knockout artist, and that's Steve Garcia. So there you go. That's my pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Jesus Christ, I'm getting blown up. Yeah, Steve Garcia. I'm with you. Knockout. It's gonna be a war though. This is a fucking banger. I mean, talent-wise, these fighters aren't the best, but one thing I'll tell you is that it is going to be an absolute banger. Let's move on. Co-main event. Really looking forward to this one. We have Jessica Andrade taking on Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva finally getting tested, and I think she passes this with flying colors. We saw Andrade was kind of getting pieced up on the feet against Marina Rodriguez, but she was able to mix in the takedowns. That's not something she's gonna be able to do against Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva is solid on the ground. She's got great defense when it comes to wrestling. I feel like on the feet, jab, the leg kick, it's going to be there all day, every day. I like Natalia Silva to get this one done. That's all I really have to say. I just think she picks her apart. Maybe gets a finish. Probably a 30-27 is going to be my prediction. Another thing with Andrade, she's like going through a bunch of personal shit right now. I saw she's like suing her ex like manager or somebody for taking advantage of her. I don't know. This girl's all over the place. She's like a half porn star at this point in her career on OnlyFans and shit. I think Silva pieces her apart. Silva is a fighter that I think is really, really good and has future top 5, maybe even champ potential. We'll see. I think she dominates against Andrade. And that's what the line says as well. It agrees. Almost 300. Minus 300. Silva is. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, she's minus 300 for a really good reason. I mean, she is so talented, so versatile. I mean, she's got 5 wins by knockout, 7 by submissions, four by decision. I mean, she's finishing fights and I mean, making them look easy. And then in her last couple of fights, obviously Andrea Lee, Viviane Araujo, a little bit tougher competition, not the best, but it's impressive nonetheless that she got clear unanimous decisions over both of them, extended her win streak to what now? Damn freaking 12, it looks like. Holy shit. But yeah, I mean, she's just better than Andrade at this stage in her career. We know what Jessica was and what she had, what she has the potential to still do, I guess, because of her power. Even at this age, but I don't think those opportunities to land those big looping overhands that she is, known for will be there against somebody like Natalia Silva, who's so defensively sound. Like her last win against Marina Rodriguez, I thought she lost personally. I mean, I thought she lost that one. The Mackenzie Dern fight, it's Mackenzie Dern. I mean, that's all I gotta say. She knocked out. It's Mackenzie Dern, one of the worst, female strikers. And then Tatiana Suarez, Yan Jianan, Eric Blanchfield, not the worst losses, but she got completely dominated on the ground in all 3 of those fights. And I mean, yeah, Natalia Silva has the potential to do that as well if she wants. She can take it to the ground and make it a grappling match and outclass her there as well. So I think she's just better than her everywhere at this stage in Jessica's career, and it's a great fight. Like if you ask me, what step does Natalia need to take to get to the next level? I think a win over Jessica Andrade is exactly what she needs to put herself in that class. So I like her here, and I'm gonna pick her as well.
Simple as that. Let's move on. Main event: Gilbert Burns taking on Sean Brady. This is one that, it's so tough. It's so tough because honestly, 4 years ago, I'm taking Gilbert Burns all day, every day. I'm taking him in this fight, but he's older. He's 38. He's coming off a brutal knockout, but his durability is something really considering when it comes to fighting Sean Brady. I don't know. Oh, this is so tough. But I think I'm still going to rock with Gilbert Burns, and I'll tell you why. I feel like he'll still have the advantage on the feet. Sean Brady really hasn't shown us anything when it comes to striking. Got finished on the feet by Bilal Muhammad. That happened. And also, if he gets takedowns, it's not going to be as easy as that Kelvin Gastelum fight. Burns is going to be throwing up submissions. This guy is extremely high level on the ground. He's going to be looking for triangles, looking for arm bars. He's going to put up a fight. Also, I think Burns is the better cardio. Was looking good in that 3rd round against Della Maddalena up until getting brutally finished. I feel like if this goes to the later rounds, it's Burns all day, every day. We saw Brady gassing 1 against Muhammad. I think Gilbert Burns, I just feel like he has more paths. I don't even know if he has more paths. I just feel like he'll be able to stalemate the game of Sean Brady. I feel like he's got the style to do it. But then again, 38, durability, concerning. I don't know. There's some things you have to think about, but the line doesn't make sense. I don't get how he's plus 155. I'm going to pick him outright to win. Who you got?
I didn't even see the line plus 155. Oh my gosh, man. I want to I want to agree with you so bad. And I was, damn. Ah, this is tough. This is tough. This is tough. Because Gilbert Burns in his last fight, you remember we were on opposite sides here. I picked Gilbert Burns, you picked Jack Della Maddalena. That 3rd round of that fight, Gilbert Burns, I thought, was on track to maybe win a close split decision because I mean he looked good in the second. He was landing
I
some
thought he
good.
was winning the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought he was
He
winning the
looked
fight.
good. And then all of a sudden he gets clipped with that knee. And let me be perfectly clear. That knee that Della Maddalena threw, the timing of it, the accuracy, it probably catches every single welterweight. So I'm not like holding that against Gilbert Burns. It was a clean knee that he ate. And I don't think Sean Brady has that potential. When have we seen Sean Brady ever have, a finishing sequence like that? Matter of fact, like you said, he got finished by Bilal. That's one of the worst looks that you can have as a welterweight. And the 38 years old worries me a lot. I mean, how old is Sean Brady though? I mean, he's 31. Yeah, he's kind of in his prime, but his prime, like in the UFC, we really haven't seen much from him. I mean, the Chiesa win, I don't know. It's Michael Chiesa. Jake Matthews win.
He
It's
looked
Jake.
bad in the end of that 3rd round. he slowed down tremendously in that
Yeah,
Casey fight as well.
exactly. That's concerning. And then, I mean, the other ones, Court McGee, Ishmael Narudiev, Christian Aguilera, like there's really no impressive wins there. There's no impressive wins there on his record. I mean, even the Kelvin Gastelum one, that's pretty impressive. He subbed him by Kimura, I guess, but I think Gilbert Burns is not, I don't think Gilbert Burns is getting submitted by Sean Brady. I think that is off the table here. I think if anything, it's like Sean Brady has to drag this fight out and win this fight in the later rounds, like fourth and fifth round, where Gilbert maybe starts to slow down. But Gilbert isn't, the biggest, he doesn't have a lot of cardio issues. I think Gilbert Burns outlasts this man. I think he stands firm here on his ranking. I don't know where he is at this stage in the rankings, but I think he preserves it. I think he just does enough in the damage. I think his striking is still just a different tier than Sean Brady's. Sean Brady's striking is really bad. It's really bad, and I think Gilbert has the speed and the power to expose him on the feet. As long as he can just keep it standing and not get clipped, because all it is he's gonna get clipped with some bullshit and gets knocked out. But if he doesn't get knocked out, I can see him winning a decision too. So I'm going to pick Gilbert Burns as well. I got my doubts. You got your doubts. But how can you not? I mean, Sean Brady lost by knockout to Bilal Muhammad.
That happened.
Disqualifies him from winning this fight in my eyes.
I'm with you. It disqualifies him. We're riding with Burns. We're sticking to our guts. And stylistically, again, this fight is so interesting.
Plus 155, these lines.
But he's 38, Rohan. We don't know.
I know. But we've seen guys like be able.
But then again, he was fighting in his prime. Like he went toe to toe with Usman at 35 years old. So
true.
You can budget off that. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Any final words with this fight?
I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting fight. And again, if it gets to the later rounds, I think it'll get very interesting because Brady does have some wrestling of his own. He does have some wrestling, and Usman and Gilbert Burns slows down. Even in the Kamaru Usman fight, he started to slow down a little bit. So if Brady can take over down the stretch just with his, physical advantages, I think he can make it interesting. But like you said, man, we got to stick with the OG. He's been in the game. He's seen a lot of styles. He's still doing it. He looked great against Jack Della Maddalena until the moment he got caught. We riding with Gilbert Burns, baby. Let's go.
Damn fucking right.
Oh, it's just me. Oh. I don't know what happened. He's gone. But I think I gotta close out the show. That's really all.
Sorry. I thought I was on Tapology, and I went to click like the back button, but I was on StreamYard, so I just like.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I guess I gotta close out by myself. Yeah,
but don't worry, I'm here. That's all we got. There's your breakdown, folks. Really looking forward to next weekend's card, the Sphere. Oh my god! I mean, talent-wise, obviously we don't have incredible fights, but I do believe Dana White when I think this show is going to be incredible. I think it's going to be the best UFC show we've ever seen. Despite
it better be, bro. The way they're hyping it up and the facility that the Sphere is, like, they better make this shit like mind blowing. I better have my mind blown at the end of the night. I'm serious, bro. I need it because that's what they're hyping it up. This bald man Dana White, that's all he's been talking about is the Sphere and John Jones, bro. So John Jones, I don't know if he's going to come through on that promise, but the Sphere better deliver for sure.
Well, we know Aspinall would kill John Jones, but hopefully that fight gets made. But the Sphere is going to be sick. This card will be fun despite it being in the Apex. Gosh, I hope they leave that fucking warehouse at this rate. I have no idea if it will happen. Any final words for the people?
Hey, man, enjoy this Saturday. It's going to be, we're back. We are back. Some fights to enjoy, some UFC high-level fights to enjoy. So let's just sit back and enjoy. Let's have some fun.
As always, should be a fun Saturday night. As always, you guys can check us out on Instagram at CounterpunchPod. And if you want a free week of our UFC MMA bets, we got UFC and Bellator coming up this weekend. So
that's
if anything sticks out on the Bellator card, I'll get it to you guys. But we've been on a roll this year. We look to continue this weekend. We'll give you a free week. All you have to do is click the link in the description of this video. But for now, it's been Lucas. It's been Rohan. And we will see you. I didn't even play our outro music.
Oh, shit. It's been too long, bro.
We may have to redo
it. Hey, we can let the music rock for a little bit. But, hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. We appreciate you all. We appreciate the support. Peace.
Peace out.